work on a treatment. That's just the economic reality.
We'll have to wait and see. Want to let you know our crew just arrived to that brush fire in Pasco County near Land O'Lakes. We're still watching it. They're encouraging some people to evacuate right now. Stick around for a live report on ABC Action News at 5.
Live from the station taking action for you, this is ABC Action News.
Right now at 5, an accused arsonist caught on camera. The one detail a supermarket worker noticed that made the suspect easy to find.
And tonight, firefighters finally gaining control of a massive brush fire that came close to destroying a Hernando Beach church. The warning authorities still need you to hear tonight. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Wendy Ryan.
And I'm Jamison Euler. Breaking news as we come on the air. Yet another brush fire has ignited in Tampa Bay, this time off of State Road 52 in Pasco County, and the people living nearby are being urged to get out.
Yeah, take a look here. You're looking at Action Air 1, giving us our first look at this fire. You see a lot of smoke in this area right now. A shelter actually just opening up within the last few minutes in Hudson for anyone in Suncoast Lakes or Moon Lake who chooses to evacuate from their homes.
ABC Action News reporter Michael Paluska is heading that way. We will go live to him as soon as he arrives. Also within the last few minutes, we have an update now on a huge brush fire in Hernando Beach. Crews say the 1,100-acre fire is about 90% contained.
Part of that has to do with these back burns firefighters have been doing to stop the main fire. But crews are now warning there could be smoke in this area for days to come. Our Brenda Lise Gonzalez live in Hernando County taking us inside this fight. Brenda Lise.
Yeah, even though this fire is mostly contained, it still is smoky out here for drivers along US 19 here. Crews say you're going to still smell that smoke for the next couple of days, but it's a fair trade-off for some people here who had a lot more at stake.
We're very blessed.
This thick line of ashes and smoke reaches just 20 yards from this church.
It was a moment of apprehension, a lot of prayer going on.
The pastor here at First Baptist Church of Hernando Beach got the call and this picture a few hours before Sunday service, forcing them to cancel.
A little scared because you look and you realize how fragile everything is, and it wouldn't take much for that wind to shift, and if it had, all the buildings would have gone up.
Now fire crews say most of the fire is contained. They're now confident it won't spread further out or closer to any other homes or buildings.
Still cautious, but yes, we certainly are pleased that we were able to save those things yesterday.
Including the area near the church.
He spared the church once again.
It's the second time in a few years the building is spared from flames. Today, these ashes serve as a sign.
God can turn ashes into beauty.
A message heard clear even without Sunday service.
And we believe the hand of God is on the church, and the church is standing strong.
Crews hope to have the fire fully contained by the end of today. Good news for this pastor who hopes to head back to his church for Sunday Easter service. Reporting live, Brenda Lise Gonzalez, ABC Action News.
Brenda Lise, thank you. This is a time of year it's prime for brush fires like the one in Hernando County. You're looking at yet another fire that ignited over the weekend that partially destroyed a Seminole County Girl Scout camp. The Florida Forest Service says the lack of humidity and changing wind patterns have made this area the driest it's been in years. It's because of that Florida has the highest fire risk right now of any southern state. If recent fires like these have you concerned, stick around. Ahead at 6, we'll show you some ways to protect your home from fire risk.
And despite some rain just last week, crews are not getting much help from the dry weather right now. Let's turn things over to Chief Meteorologist Dennis Phillips. So, Den, will there be any change in the conditions anytime soon?
Doesn't look that way, Wendy. We're definitely looking at a stretch of weather, which, again, is not unusual. If you're new to the area, wildfires are a part of life in our area. Brush fires in February, March, April, May, just like hurricane season is come June, July, August, and September. And the one thing that we were noticing, and we noticed this a couple of hours ago, we really could see right on Titan Doppler radar when that brush fire broke out just to the west of the Veterans. And you can see as the smoke continues to push west, if you live anywhere from, say, Moon Lake Estates all the way to the coast, between, say, Port Richey, Newport Richey, maybe even Holiday, all the way up to Hudson, you are smelling smoke right now as the brush fire does continue to try to move west, although it isn't showing, at least in terms of a radar signature, of getting any stronger, which is a good thing right now. Hopefully the firefighters can get control of that. Temperatures right now back in the mid to upper 80s again across the area with low dew points. The combination of high heat, low dew points, and gusty winds means a very good chance of those fire dangers continuing. But by the middle of the week, maybe a few showers in the forecast. We'll talk about that coming up in a couple of minutes.
All right, thanks, Dennis. We'll check back with you. Well, we first told you about today's Pasco County brush fire in a push alert on our free ABC Action News mobile app. As we get updates on that fire and the one in Hernando County, we'll push them out for you. You can also see full news conference and all reports on our website and Facebook pages.
We're also keeping an eye on Southern California right now, where 2 adults are dead and 2 students are critically hurt in a murder-suicide shooting at a San Bernardino elementary school. Many of you watching live on our Facebook page as students were evacuated from the North Park school and loaded onto school buses. Police say the shooting happened inside a classroom, and they believe the suspect is among the dead. Parents rushed to that school to pick up their kids, obviously shaken up, like this woman waiting to see if her son was okay.
I was mad at him this morning because he left and didn't want to go to school. He said he didn't feel well, so I was kind of mad at him when I left, so I just went hold him.
Investigators believe the motive of the shooting was a domestic dispute between 2 adults. We're working to get you more information now on a death investigation in Riverview. Overnight, deputies say they found 2 adults dead inside a home here on Pond Ridge Drive. They call those deaths suspicious, but do not believe a suspect is still on the run. Within the last few hours, deputies told us the 2 bodies were taken to the medical examiner and will likely be identified tomorrow morning.
Want to check out this video right now. Employees literally fighting to put out a fast-growing fire behind a supermarket full of people inside. Only moments earlier, video captures a man starting that exact fire. You see him there. Well, our Clifton French found out the employee who put out the flames also caught that suspected arsonist.
I came out to see what's going on. And when I open the door, I see flames all over the place.
This is just before 3 in the afternoon on Saturday, behind Mega Supermarket on Nebraska Avenue. Inside of the store, several employees and customers.
It looked like the building was catching on fire. It's concrete.
Abdallah is the assistant manager of this store and the man in this video fighting to save it from the flames. He's still amazed at how quick it grew.
It was a pretty good fire, and he started all with just a little flame.
The video also shows how the fire started. Exactly 10 minutes before Abdallah walks out the back door, this man is seen walking up to the bales of cardboard, looking back several times as he walks away. When Abdallah watched the video, he knew exactly who this person was.
He's just our neighborhood, guy that just stands outside, drinks some beer, stuff. But we never saw this coming.
In fact, he had a favorite spot in front of the building, next to this water dispenser. And as it turns out, the man who started the fire was back here the very next day. Abdallah, the man who put that fire out, saw him, then held him until police arrived. Officers say 63-year-old Ruben Alvarez admitted to setting the fire with matches, but couldn't tell them why he did it.
But we have houses over here. There's kids always playing over here. You see the toys.
Tonight, Abdallah knows how quickly this could have turned into a tragedy. He's hopeful Alvarez has time to think about it in jail.
Hopefully we don't see him for a while.
In Tampa, Clifton French, ABC Action News.
2 days after the U.S. strike on Syria, tensions in the Middle East are rising following that defiant message this weekend from the Assad regime. On Sunday, a joint warning from Syria's allies, Russia, Iran, and Hezbollah, saying the U.S. crossed red lines and, quote, from now on, we will respond to anyone, including America, if it attacks Syria. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson heads to Moscow tomorrow, insisting the U.S. military strategy in Syria has not changed.
I think our strategy in Syria, as you know, our priority is first the defeat of ISIS, remove them from access to the caliphate, because that's where the threat to the homeland and
But UN Ambassador Nikki Haley said a political solution is impossible as long as Bashar al-Assad is in power in Syria.
Judge Neil Gorsuch expected to get right to work now that he's been sworn in as the newest Supreme Court justice. Today's ceremony marks a major political victory in President Donald Trump's first 100 days in office that comes after more than a year of partisan fighting, and the Senate using the so-called nuclear option to get it done.
The most important thing that a president of the United States does is appoint people to the United States Supreme Court. And I got it done in the first 100 days.
I am humbled by the trust placed in me today. I will never forget that to whom much is given, much will be expected.
And since Gorsuch is replacing the late Antonin Scalia, the balance is back to 4 conservatives, 4 liberals, and 1 swing vote. Gorsuch could become a deciding vote in upcoming cases surrounding church and state separation, housing discrimination, and same-sex rights.
A Tampa man is still in jail after deputies say he pointed a gun at a bunch of kids. Arrest documents show Antelmo Morales Sanchez was only holding a pellet gun, but the kids said they thought it was a rifle and they were afraid for their lives. Deputies say Morales Sanchez went back into his house and it took them 4 hours to get him out. We're told he gave authorities a fake name and denied everything, even though deputies found the pellet gun in his home.
We've got an update now on a toddler injured in a jet ski accident off the Courtney Campbell Causeway over the weekend. Florida Fish and Wildlife officer saying the 18-month-old girl now out of the hospital after this jet ski hit her in the face Sunday evening. She had to get treated for an eye injury. FWC did not tell us the name of the person riding that jet ski nor what led to the accident. Well, much more news still ahead for you at 5 o'clock, including the new health care clinic where an appointment might cost you less than a tank of gas.
Plus, many people are turning to a new option in order to save money during an emergency. The warning from health experts about why it could actually wind up costing you more.
Busted his lip.
Oh my God! Look at what you did to him!
A new fallout from this viral video of a man being dragged off of a plane. The reason the airline is giving and why that passenger says he needed to stay put.
And breaking news before we go to break now, some of this video you're seeing from Pasco County now of another brush fire that is broken out there. Voluntary evacuations are now underway in Pasco County with this brush fire off of State Road 52. It's impacting a lot of people in the Suncoast Lakes subdivision and Moon Lake near State Road 52. We're being told Fasano Regional Hurricane Shelter is now open for any displaced residents. Voluntary evacuations are also being urged at this point. We will continue to monitor this brush fire here in Pasco County on air and online. ABC Action News at 5 returns right after this.
We want to go back to that breaking news in Pasco County right now. Action Air 1 live over this brush fire in Pasco County. We saw quite a bit of smoke earlier, but there are voluntary evacuations right now, not mandatory, just voluntary. This brush fire off of State Road 52, it is impacting people in the Suncoast Lake subdivision and the Moon Lake area. Again, this is near State Road 52. Our ABC Action News reporter Michael Paluska is heading to the scene right now. You see more smoke, making visibility very difficult, especially in the streets surrounding this area. Of course, we'll stay on top of this breaking story, bring you more updates on air and online at abcactionnews.com.
We're seeing new images out of Egypt tonight of the first funerals for the Palm Sunday terror attack victims. A day after the ISIS bombings killed 45 people in Christian churches, Egypt declared a 3-month state of emergency. The state of emergency will let the Egyptian army and police take extra steps to root out terror networks in Egypt. President Trump condemned the attack and called Egypt's president to express his condolences. Medical experts say they're concerned about a growing trend of people calling Uber or Lyft to get to the emergency room instead of an ambulance.
If it's fast enough, yeah, but I would rather get someone right away.
Riders like that one say they think it's better because they can pick the hospital and save money on an expensive ambulance. But doctors say it could backfire because not all hospitals provide the same type of care.
Go to the wrong hospital because of self-transport or Uber or Lyft, that hospital will then call 911.
If that happens, the hospital may call you an ambulance anyway, which can run you up to $1,700. Uber says it is not a substitute for an ambulance, so if you have an emergency, you should still call 911. Sick and without health insurance, so many in the Bay Area are faced with that dilemma, but there may be some relief coming to patients in Polk County.
Yeah, ABC Action News reporter Ryan Ray shows us the new clinic that may cost you less than a family dinner.
Lakeisha Brown of Davenport recently lost her job, and now she's in that vulnerable spot of needing a doctor, but not having any health benefits to lean on.
I started out a new position, but I just haven't had my insurance just yet.
She's part of a growing number of people in Polk County without insurance. That population ballooning so much in recent years, Central Florida Healthcare decided to open up shop in Haines City. Here on day one, already 9 patients are on the schedule to see Dr. Beatrice Cilian.
If anybody can come here, but our main purpose is to serve the people who don't have any means of insurance.
Patients here will pay on a sliding scale based on income and family size. So, for instance, that sore throat that costs you more than $100 at a typical walk-in may cost as little as $25 at this clinic.
They don't have any means of accessing to medical care. So this clinic will solve that problem for them.
These clinics are scattered around the state, and they are becoming more and more popular as people continue to drop insurance because of skyrocketing premiums.
More people than ever before, because the word is getting out. The word is actually getting out.
In added benefit, it's taking some of the strain off emergency rooms that never turn anyone away. I asked Brown where she would be today if this clinic hadn't opened.
I just have to go to the ER for every visit.
Some may even choose a more painful approach.
They probably go without care.
Within a few months, Central Florida Healthcare plans to expand to all the offices in this downtown Haines City building, providing the entire gamut of services and giving a lifeline to those who can't afford them. In Polk County, Ryan Raish, ABC Action News.
Well, we can certainly use some rain out there with all these brush fires going on.
Yeah, I was just looking on Facebook, and a lot of folks saying, I'm new to the area. Is this normal for this time of the year?
Yeah,
it kind of is. I mean, normally March, April, May, very dry. And when we get dry air, we get low humidity, gusty winds. Brush fires are a very common thing. And if you're just tuning in, this is just south of SR 52 in Pasco County, just west of the vets, around Moon Lake Estates area. It's going to the west, and actually there are voluntary evacuation orders. But again, looking at the picture there, while obviously all that smoke, and by the way, I've had folks from southern Pinellas all the way to Hernando County smelling the smoke, not to mention there's already the other fire that's been burning for the last couple of days in Hernando County. And this is one of the main reasons. I mean, when you have moderate to severe drought conditions across the entire area, this is to be expected. Now, the only thing we are hoping is, every now and again, the rainy season can start early. So maybe we start getting our summertime weather earlier in May. It does not appear likely. Usually it's just one of those things. Second week in June, Mother Nature flips a switch and we start getting all of our late day storms. And then early on, we get a lot of lightning, and that can create additional fires until things usually start to get soaked by later June into July. For the time being, only thing that's really showing up on radar is the smoke plume from that fire. There it is. We noticed it on radar a few hours ago. There's the veterans. You can see everything is moving to the west. So while you may not have direct impacts along the coast from, say, Hudson all the way, pretty much all of coastal Pasco County for the most part is smelling this, and it does extend even down into central and northern Pinellas County as well. So bottom line, hopefully the firefighters will get us a little bit of control over this, because Mother Nature, she's not helping at all. It is dry, kind of breezy, although not nearly as windy as last week. I guess there is a little bit of a bright spot there. 86 right now in Tampa, 80 in St. Pete, 84 in Clearwater. East wind, well, there's some good news out of that. Eventually, that brings us some more humidity. Higher the dew point, the less likely it is that the fires begin to spread because there's more moisture already in the atmosphere. It makes a lot of sense, but yet the water vapor imagery still shows things are very dry out there. And while there is a chance of some rain by the middle of the week, I think it's nothing more than just a little bit of that moisture coming in from the east, that East Coast sea flow that we talk about so often. You get the Gulf Coast sea breeze in the afternoon that can spark our storms, but you get a few days of an easterly wind in our neck of the woods. Eventually, it increases the humidity and maybe a few showers over to the east side of the state. But it appears pretty unlikely that much of that moisture makes it all the way to the west along the coast. So warmer, humid with that easterly wind right on through the week and into Easter weekend for that matter. You notice there is a cold front off to the northwest. Don't think it makes it here. We start to get, even though we did have one last week, it's pretty unusual by the time we hit mid-April that we're even talking about a cold front with drier, cooler air. You never say never, but I have a feeling that was our last front we're going to see any impact from. Temperatures for highs right back in the mid to upper 80s again on Tuesday. A little more humidity out there. So while the morning was refreshing this morning, and tomorrow not too shabby either, you're going to start to feel that more muggy weather returning by the afternoon and continuing through at least Wednesday into Thursday. Easterly winds for the boaters at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet, water temperature 72 degrees, a moderate chop out of the bay. There are your tides, your sunrise, and your sunset. Hour by hour, partly cloudy to clear overnight. Not as cool as this morning, but still pretty comfortable out there. Again, we've been talking about a lot of very nice weather of late, and by the next 7 days, we're going to see highs well into the 80s, if not maybe even upper 80s across part of the area. Rain chances 20 to 30% by Thursday. Over Easter weekend, more sunshine, still kind of muggy though, with temperatures in the mid-80s.
Looks good. Thanks, Dan. Smashing their way into a gun store. What these thieves did next, they could have wound up hurting a whole lot of people.
A neighborhood crumbling new at 6, some of the biggest problems preventing kids from getting access to nutritious food.
This video of security officers dragging that passenger by his arms off of United flight overnight, causing a whole lot of controversy on social media this evening. And tonight, one of the officers who pulled that screaming man off the plane is now on leave.
United Airlines offering an explanation for all of this today, confirming a passenger was taken off of a flight from Chicago to Louisville because it was overbooked. Other passengers say no one volunteered to give up their seat, forcing the airline to pick people at random. The airline called security when the man refused to leave, and he threatened to call his lawyer. Passengers say the man claimed to be a doctor who needed to be at the hospital the next morning.
A daring heist at a Pasco County gun store. What these thieves did next that put others at risk.
Tearing down dilapidated old homes and building brand new. New at 5:30, how the city of Largo is helping nonprofits breathe new life into our community.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Lakeland Toyota. Save more on I-4.